The use of appropriate mise-en-scène within our piece is a convention that we adhered to. Normally in music videos, the protagonist and the band members, etc., the characters basically, tend to wear clothes of, like the codes of dress that apply to those their fans and what they wear, etc. We try to stick with this, so obviously our protagonist needed to be of sort of an indie style. So obviously we had plain black denim jeans. We had, when you couple that with sort of the Chelsea boots, the loud print shirt and the blue bomber jacket, you tend to get this very indie sort of style vibe, which is exactly what we wanted coming off from our character. Also within our mise-en-scène, obviously our locations were pretty indie. I mean, a lot of them were isolating, especially the fields where we used mainly sort of long shots, mid shots, sort of long close-ups as well, I guess. That made him look quite isolated throughout the entire piece. Also, obviously with our room where all the smashing takes place. It's a ragstone room, it's very sort of indie looking, and I mean, that coupled with the isolation sort of spaces are quite typical of indie music videos. The other part of mise-en-scène really we've got is our props. Obviously we had to be a bit careful with the smashing scene. Obviously we couldn't put like computers and TVs in this room and turn it into like a proper room. Because obviously, if he's smashing glasses, then people are going to be like, well, why isn't he smashing the computer? Surely that's of more wealth. And so obviously we were a bit limited with what we could sort of go with. But I think, having the ashtray, the glasses, the plates, the vodka and the tequila bottles, it kind of gave that idea of more almost like a social sort of place, somewhere that, he would entertain friends possibly. But also something that connects with quite young people as well, so obviously we're showing his age in this as well, which is always a good thing. So really I think we pretty much adhere to these sort of conventions of like within the mise-en-scène of indie music videos. Within our piece, I mean, there is the idea of the minimalistic and bleak sort of surroundings and sort of tone and theme throughout our entire piece. I mean, this is very, very conventional of the indie style, especially with the more somber type songs like the Mystery Jets do. We sort of went for the whole bleakness, especially within the fields. I mean, we were quite lucky to start with that we had quite an overcast day to shoot, and actually also in the balcony. I mean, it was very overcast, it almost started raining on us. But I mean, in post-production we added a greyish sort of tint. We turned down the hue a bit, so it just looked that little bit more washed out, that little bit more bleak. Because we just sort of decided, the bleakness kind of went with the somber tone of everything we were trying to portray. And, it was a bit of almost pathetic fallacy, I guess, if you want. The minimalism, again, kind of comes within in the props, which I spoke about a minute ago. And, just the lack of other things that are in our piece. Everything is just him and then the occasional shots of him and his girlfriend. It's all very much one point of view, all very much sort of one sort of view, point of view. So it is very minimal. You don't seem to get to know a lot, and I mean, especially within, the relationship, you see that it's a happy relationship, but all you ever really see is them walking around or them sitting on a bench and laughing, you don't properly get an insight into anyone's life within it, but I think the narrative is strong, but it is minimal, but I think it works. I think, for a music video, you can't have an amazingly complex and in-depth narrative, but I think we've achieved that quite well, and again, adhered to those conventions. The idea of integrated performance within our piece. It is a convention out there. I mean, it's very conventional to have performance and narrative. There are a lot of music videos that have very, very just strong narrative pieces. There are some that have complete and total performance for their whole song. But it's becoming more and more common to combine the two. normally having them separate, but especially within like the indie sort of genre, it is becoming more and more popular to sort of have integrated performance into your narrative. Really, I think we did this quite well. I think it was a success, and I think it was the best way for us to go. I mean, from the very, very outset, we wanted really a strong narrative. If we had our way, there'd be no performance. So this was a way for us to sort of tick the performance box and still have a really, really strong focus on a narrative. And in retrospect, I think we made the best decision by using the miming within our narrative, because I think if we had cutaways to a bad performance, like the emotion and the reason and the linear structure would get lost, and I don't think it'd be as sort of dramatic and powerful as it is, especially, you know, because like the audience is going to lose the connection with the emotions, and as to be honest, I don't think they'd get a strong connection with the emotions, because I think a lot of our connection between protagonist and audience is when we have eye level shots of him miming into the camera, so it's almost like a direct address to the audience. You know, him proclaiming, these are my feelings, this is what I'm feeling, this song is how I'm feeling right now, you know. So I think we made the best choice on that, and I mean, yeah, it is a pretty strong convention in a music video, so I think we have adhered to that, especially, I mean, it is coming more and more popular in the indie sort of music scene.